to have another presenter, which is Ambassador Thorir Ibsen. You are from Iceland, which is also a country I happen to be there also, and I know Ambassador Ibsen is, of course, again from Minister of Foreign Affairs, but he has a lead and negotiate a further relation with UK, with Iceland representative on the European Economic Area, and also many organizations and committees that you've been also taking lead, and fishery negotiator and Iceland Ambassador, Czech Republic, Hungary, and Slovakia. So many good experience. So Ambassador Ibsen, your turn, please.
Thank you very much, Henry, and thank you for the initiative of inviting us to speak here today and be with you today and share our views with you. And it's a good initiative. Dear colleagues, dear friends, I wanted to devote my intervention to two observations. One is what I would like to call the Nordic analytical approach, and the second is our experience with sustainability, or what we have learned from trying to build a sustainable society, and to draw some lessons learned from our experience. I think it's important to bring out the analytical side of the Nordic thinking, because we are analyzing the world order here today, and we are trying to address how to address issues that we are all commonly dealing with. Now, the Nordics, as you have noticed, are very pragmatic. We avoid using strong words in our analysis of state of affairs, because we think to dramatize and use dramatized language is not helpful, and in fact can be dangerous, and it can encourage reactions and solutions that are neither useful or peaceful. Thus, instead of drawing up a dramatic picture of the challenges of the world community is facing today, we approach the challenges with a pragmatic and analytical mind, with a view of solving the problems. As a Nordic, I thus take issue with such broad stroke generalizations that we are living in an area of a crisis. We are certainly facing important challenges and changes, but we are not facing crisis. And certainly not a multitude of crises. Our institutions, society, and economy have not become dysfunctional. And neither our societies nor the world order are at the brink of collapsing or being transformed into a new social order or world order. On the contrary, we, at least in the Nordic countries and in Europe, we have efficient democratic governance that constantly addresses income disparity and other socioeconomic challenges through fiscal policy, the education system, healthcare, and the welfare system. We also like diversity in Europe, and we have a long-standing democratic tradition, institutions, and independent media that foster cohesion to free and transparent political discussion. Furthermore, we have decades of experience of resolving environmental problems, and we lead international cooperation to protect the environment and promote sustainable development. And finally, our security architecture, especially in NATO, has proven to be one of the most cohesive, capable, and committed collective defense alliances in the world. It safeguards our way of life, our freedom, and our security. This has been particularly very important since the Russian brutal and illegal invasion of Ukraine. This said about the analytic approach of the Nordics, I want to turn to Iceland and our experience of sustainability and try to draw a few lessons from our practices. Now, like our Nordic relatives and brothers and sisters, Iceland is an affluent, dynamic, and democratic island country. We enjoy one of the highest living standards in the world, And as a Nordic country, Iceland has an egalitarian society characterized by social inclusion, economic fairness, and gender equality. We built our affluence by adopting an open, export-oriented market economy and by developing the use of our natural resources into successful, competitive export industries. Relying as we do on our natural resources, we have learned the importance of protecting our environment and using our natural resources sustainably. With sustainable resource management, we secure more stable economy and long-term economic growth, as well as more equal distribution of economic rewards and social benefits. Moreover, by focusing on sustainability, we unleashed innovation and growth of green practices and low-carbon technologies that have brought Icelandic companies to the global market and indeed to China. And in this area, we have had a very successful and good cooperation with China. I will not cover that today. I've already addressed that in an article that is going to be published by CCG in the fall, and where I cover the green cooperation of Iceland and China. However, the transformation, or to transform the economy to sustainability, is often easier said than done. In our experience, we have learned a few things. For sustainable policy to be successful, it must have a broad support among businesses and citizens alike. It must be justifiable and based on reason. And the policy and its implementation must be clear and transparent. In other words, both businesses and citizens must understand the need for the policy, see their interest in implementing the policy, and be able to trust that its application is equitable, inclusive, and just. A few conditions for successful sustainability from our experience is that the policy must bring win-win for businesses and people as well as for the environment. The regulatory framework must therefore encourage sustainable business practices, including through economic rewards. And the social and economic needs of communities must be met with secure employment. Businesses and people must have ownership of the policy. That is, the policy and the measures must be developed with direct involvement of representatives of the relevant interest groups and stakeholders. And the policy must be subject to public consultations. Furthermore, the policy must be justifiable on the basis of reason. Thus, the environmental measures and decisions related to the management of natural resources must be based on best available scientific knowledge. Lastly, but not the least, the policy and its implementation must be clear and transparent. Citizens and businesses must be able to see and verify that the sustainable policy is working and applied in a just and equitable manner. Number of tools secures such transparency that we could mention a few, including publicly available environmental data, peer-reviewed environmental performance reviews of government policies, corporate environmental disclosure, reliable labeling for consumers, including eco-labels, and environmental impact assessments of projects. To conclude with a few keywords that we can discuss further during our roundtable after this presentation. In our experience, sustainability requires independent and peer-reviewed science. It has to be economically efficient and beneficial. It has to be socially equitable and just. It must involve ownership and direct participation of all stakeholders, citizens, businesses, and interest groups. And it must be transparent to ensure trust. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Ambassador Ibsen.